Welcome to episode 47 of the Rise Fitness and Nutrition podcast. I am your host, Carlo. Today we are talking about something that is related to nutrition, but it's a little bit more unusual, and it's about the 5-second rule in food. Is it safe to eat food that falls on the floor? Listen up to find out. You are having your favorite snack and a piece of it slips, falls, and hits the floor. What do? Do you count 3 or 5 seconds or more, pick it up, throw it away, or eat it? A lot of us use the 3 seconds rule, or maybe the 5 seconds rule, or just take it and eat it. But there's a lot going on when this situation happens. And of course, we don't want to think about it because, hey, they told us that this rule is true. But is it? How safe is it to eat food that falls on the floor, or let's say on any surface that you're not sure is clean? So I hope that the plates that we use to eat are clean enough, that is to say. First thing first, there are a few theories regarding the origin of the 5-second rule. And one of the most interesting ones that I found is about Genghis Khan. And that found me super surprised. Apparently, back in the days when Genghis Khan was conquering and ruling around the world, it had instituted the so-called Khan rule during banquets for his generals. And here is the thing. If food fell on the floor, it could stay there as long as Khan allowed, because food prepared for him was so special that it would be good for anyone to eat no matter what. Interesting, isn't it? Now, there's a lot of noise regarding the 5-second rule and its safety. Some studies, some tests, some confirmations, some disprove. But the thing is, some of those studies and some of those tests have been conducted quite, I wouldn't say randomly, but it kind of looks like randomly. The structure of the test was a little bit unusual. The results analysis was not as you might expect from a clinical trial. But anyway, I found online a published investigation of the 5-second rule in a peer-reviewed journal, the Journal of Applied Microbiology. And this study basically finds that exposure time and essentially time on the floor significantly changes the number of microorganisms than found on food. Then in 2016, these findings were expanded. 128 scenarios, including a mix of foods and floor types, were used in the test, and more than 2,500 measurements were done. Specifically, in these tests, they used watermelon, plain white bread, buttered white bread, and gummy worms. Each food was dropped from about 10 centimeters above the ground. As to the ground, the researchers looked at each food dropped on stainless steel, ceramic tile, wood, and carpet flooring. The study's results were then published in the journal Applied and Environmental Microbiology, and here is what they found, basically. The number of microorganisms each food picked up when it hit the floor varied based on the food and the surface, of course, but there are some standout results. Watermelon picked up the most organisms, no matter what kind of flooring it hit. Gummy worms pick up the least number of organisms, no matter the flooring, and to put it simply, longer contact times do result in more organisms on the floor, and food picks up contaminants from the floor exceptionally quickly. Basically, the results largely come down to what surfaces or food are the wettest, as the bacteria are just carried along with the moisture. There is, though, a little bit of a plot twist. What type of flooring surface do you think is the worst in terms of bacteria and microorganisms? Here is the choice. You get ceramic tile, stainless steel, carpet, and wood flooring. What is the worst one? I give you 3 seconds to think. 1, 2, Did you pick a surface? Well, it looks like that carpet flooring is one of the safest surfaces to drop food on and then pick it up to eat it. It probably is because of the tight fibers and the surface of the flooring itself that might make the situation a little different. But hey, I was not expecting it. What does it mean for the 5-second rule, but most importantly, what does it mean for your own safety? Here is the catch. I don't know how old are you, but I'm 34, and by making a simple math, I have been eating so far at least 36,000 plus meals in my entire life so far. And stuff did fall on the floor or fell on the table or at restaurants or wherever. And I did pick it up and eat it most of the time. And here I am, perfectly fine. That is to say that it's not like you should eat everything that falls on the floor, but it's a little bit like playing Russian roulette or playing the lottery. Most of the time, you don't win anything and or you don't get shot, but there's that one chance that you might pick up something that has been contaminated with some nasty microorganisms and bacteria, and that might make you sick, absolutely. Another thing to consider, the type of food you drop. If you drop something that's really wet and moisturized, such as watermelon or any kind of cream or any kind of food that has some moisture inside, well, you might as well just leave it there and throw it away. But if you drop something that is hard and no moisture, say a cracker, well, maybe you'll be okay. Another element to consider is, are you dropping that inside your kitchen in your own apartment, or are you dropping that inside the metro, on the floor or on the seat of the metro? Because that changes everything pretty much. If it falls on the floor in your own apartment, you might be comfortable because you know that your apartment is clean. But if it is somewhere else, yeah, no, absolutely throw it away. You don't want to risk it. One extra layer, if you have pets and or you wear the same shoes that you wear outside and you wear them inside your home, well, my recommendation is throw the food that hits the floor away immediately. Because despite how much you love your pets, they lick their butthole, and if they're dogs, they walk outside and they bring everything from the outside inside. And ultimately, if you eat food that fell on the floor, if you have pets, well, it's not exactly a great idea because you're bringing inside your stomach and inside your system a whole lot of microorganisms. Now, what happens with kids when kids eat and put in their mouth everything they find around? Is it inherently bad? Well, it's not exactly ideal, but on the other hand, kids are building their immune system, so apart from the fact that stopping kids from putting everything in their mouths, it's almost impossible. One thing is that if they put foreign organisms inside, that might help building their immune system. So, all in all, not that bad, isn't it? And let's have a look at another couple of very funny instances that you might have not considered. When you go to a birthday party and whoever is blowing on the candles on the cake to, make a wish, is it okay to eat the cake? Well, are you comfortable with the person that you are celebrating? Because the moment they blow on the candles on the cake, they also cover the cake in whatever kind of microorganisms, bacteria, and what's not that was in their mouth. So if you're comfortable with that because you trust a friend and blah blah blah, just go ahead, have a cake and enjoy it. If you are not that close or comfortable, you might maybe skip the cake. Very similar situation happens when you share a bowl of guacamole sauce with your friends and somebody double dips. Now, single dip is fine. Double dipping is still fine if you're comfortable with your friends, because why not? But to be honest, it seems that if you double dip, basically whatever kind of situation, bacteria, microorganisms, universe you have in your mouth does end up in the bowl of guacamole. So everybody else is going to share it. So maybe you're helping them reinforce their immune system. After all, sharing is caring. But maybe if you're not comfortable with the people you are around, don't share the bowl of guacamole with them. That said, you lived all the way here, and I'm sure you're feeling amazing. So I wouldn't worry too much. But I also think that these type of things are funny to know either way, because why not? And that's it for today's episode. What do you think about it? Are you gonna change your eating habits after listening about the truth on the 5-second rule? Are you gonna share the bowl of guacamole with your friends? Let me know on my Instagram channel at thecarl.fit. One last thing, if you like this podcast, please share it and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Happy rest of the week!